It's a moment to celebrate. It is fun and it's unlike anything anyone's ever heard, and there's no chance anyone has ever heard it. It's never been performed in Sweden. We did the French debut a few years ago and it went extremely well. People were clamoring for more, to hear it more. It is a unique piece of music, and it takes a photo of a unique time in history and puts it in a light that we otherwise would have lost. The story takes place in the shtetl, which is a village in the Ukraine, near Russia, near the Russian border, and in a traditional Jewish setting. There's a young woman whose mother has gone away for reasons we don't know, and whose father is in America and makes a lot of money and dies and leaves her as an heiress with a lot of money in this little village. And of course, every man around wants to marry her. She's the new golden bride, and that's why we have the title. Goldene Kalle is the word is the expression in Yiddish. The whole play is the whole text is written in Yiddish, but there are moments when characters will speak Russian, Ukrainian, Hebrew, and English, and the mix is what makes this piece so beautiful. This is a melting pot piece. And it's all about the immigrant experience. Yes, very specifically the Jewish experience in New York at the beginning of the 20th century, but it could be also any immigrant experience where you leave your homeland and you have incredible nostalgia mixed with a feeling of remorse for having left and an excitement for being in the new land where opportunity exists where in the past there hadn't been. And yet, even though with all the great opportunities and everything new and wondrous, one has lost something that one has left behind. So with all the glee and all the joyousness of being in the new world, there's this tear of having left the old world. And that's what you hear constantly in this music. The piece is an amalgam of what was going on in the 1920s in the world. So you had the Jazz Age, Prohibition, post-World War I, pre-World War II. Everything was a mix. And what I find so interesting is that there's this feeling that despite the fact that New York and America is the land of opportunity, something is so lost from having left Russia, and Russia is where the heart still remains. And Russia is, as quoted in the text of the dialogue, the place where Jews and Gentiles will be able to live together in peace. And to think that this was put in a musical context is unlike any other piece of music that I know. So yes, it is very light music, and it's very beautiful, and it's very singable and danceable. You will go home, I promise you, you will go home listening, singing and dancing to these tunes. You will not get them out of your head because they're so delightful. And the nice ones come over and over again so that you have no chance of forgetting them by the end of the evening. The idea of Opera FUOCO is to give young artists the tools necessary for understanding what it means to express a text, to explain, not just sing well, but to tell a story. Because opera is only going to remain important to us if it continues telling us the stories. Yes, you have to sing well, of course you have to do. But just singing well is not enough. Why do we love opera? Because it tells a story in a way that takes music and theater and lights and costumes and puts it all together in a magical way. And if it doesn't do it each time, then we're doing culture a disservice. So what I'm trying to do is infuse these young artists with the fire of experiencing it and expressing what this text can say. And I'm very proud to say that Vanina Santoni, who's now singing Pamina in the Magic Flute at the Bastille, is straight out of Opera FUOCO. Léa Desandres is one of the most sought-after mezzos now in Europe, and she's straight out of Opera FUOCO. Clémentine Margaine, who is one of the Carmens at the Met, was a FUOCO singer as well. So we've really inserted a lot of singers into their careers, and it's a beautiful program, and I enjoy it very much because every time I come back to these singers, I'm reminded why I am a musician. Because if we don't try to share what we've learned in all these years, then we're not doing what we should be doing. Every artist, every musician has to pass on that tradition and that love and that passion. And the more we do it, the more we make sure that music and culture, it will be well taken care of in our futures.
La